All right, so the next one here, the U.S. OK's long-range cruise missiles for Ukraine. So this story is concerning. So the Wall Street Journal reported on Saturday that the U.S. has approved a deal that will arm Ukraine with thousands of extended-range attack munition air-launched missiles, or ERAMs, which have a significantly further range than other missiles that the U.S. has sent into the proxy war. Two U.S. officials told the Journal that the ERAMs can hit targets up to 250 miles away, nearly 100 miles further than the range of the Army Tactical Missile Systems, the ATACMS, munitions that the U.S. began providing Ukraine in 2023. So I have an error here. I think it's actually the ERAMs can hit targets up to 280 miles, not 250. I have to double check that. Anyway, the ATACMS range is 190 miles. So either way, 250 or 280, that's significantly more than the ATACMS. And the deal will provide Ukraine with 3,350 of these ERAM missiles as part of an $850 million weapons package that will be mainly funded by European countries. This year, NATO began a new scheme to provide Ukraine with more U.S. weapons in deals funded by other NATO allies, known as the Prioritized Ukraine Requirements List, or the Pearl Initiative. And the ERAMs are expected to arrive in Ukraine within 6 weeks, and the U.S. Officials said that the Ukrainian military will need Pentagon approval to use them, which means that the U.S. will be working very closely with Ukraine on launching these missile strikes. So this Wall Street Journal report, they kind of buried the lead here. The headline was about the Trump administration blocking ATACMS strikes on Russian territory, which the Biden administration first greenlit toward the end of 2024, which was a big escalation. Russia responded by altering their nuclear doctrine, lowering the threshold for the use of nuclear weapons. So it shows how serious of an escalation this was. So this report says that since late spring, the U.S. has not allowed Ukraine to fire the ATACMS into Russia. So they lead with that. So I read the report. I said, well, that's good, because it's pretty provocative to directly support missile strikes on Russia. But then you read a little further, and it's like, oh, well, now they're going to send them this even longer range missile, which suggests to me that they're getting prepared to support these long range attacks inside Russia again. Which, I mean, this is serious stuff. As I said, Russia's response was changing their nuclear doctrine. So, there's a chance here, and I didn't write a story on it. If you go to the lower part of our page, we have a Russia and Ukraine section about kind of like what everybody, it's further up, about what Russia's saying about Zelensky, about what Zelensky's saying about Russia. Basically, it's not looking good. The chances of peace are not looking good. And it's really, I think, mainly the security guarantees are the thing. The fact that Ukraine wants, and Europe is even entertaining this idea of these like NATO-style security guarantees with Western troops in Russia, I think that's just what is sinking this peace effort. So the fact that that's failing and they're going to send these longer-range missiles, not a good sign. All right, so the next one here, Ukraine attacks Russian nuclear power plant. This one's from Kyle Anzalone at the Libertarian Institute. So Ukrainian forces hit a Russian nuclear power plant, causing a fire that was quickly extinguished. And Russian officials claim that a Ukrainian drone was downed near the Kursk nuclear power plant, the NPP, on Sunday, causing a small fire at the facility. The fire resulted in the power plant reducing the capacity at one of 3 units to 50%. The IAEA said that there were no injuries and there was no increase in radiation levels, so nothing major like that, but just something to highlight here. This power plant has come under repeated Ukrainian attacks, especially after Ukraine invaded Kursk. That's when we first started seeing these attacks on the power plant. They were eventually pushed out of Kursk, but Ukraine continues with these drone attacks.